Chukandar, and I have these beautiful beets with the leaves. You're going to use everything. First thing we're going to do is cut the stems off. I'm going to set these aside. So the important thing when working with beets is to wear gloves because they will stain your hands. So we're just going to chop them up pretty roughly. Stems and leaves all included, okay? And I'm also going to place it into a pot where we're going to kind of rinse them because they are full of like dirt and stuff. So we want to make sure all of them are gone and everything's clean. Now we're only going to rinse and drain the leaves and stems. We're not going to rinse the beets because then it'll lose all of that beautiful pink color. Now for the beets, we're going to chop off this little tail end and put that to the side. And then we're going to peel it like a potato. So I have my peeler here, and see, it easily peels just like a potato. I'm going to do this for all of the beets. Now to cut the beets, we're going to first cut them in half, just like this. And then you want to cut into either 2 or 3 pieces and then slice them like this. So like basically like 1-inch cubes. And I'm going to do that for the rest of them. I placed the beets in a pressure cooker. We're not going to rinse them. You can roughly rinse them just like when they're whole, just to get any dirt off. But you want to keep them free from water for right now because you don't want them to lose the pink like color. That's the beauty of it. And for this, we're going to rinse and drain them. And then you want to use your hands to kind of pick up the beet leaves and stems because there's a lot of dirt and soil that come from it. So just like this. Now we're going to set this aside and work on our masala mixture, which the base of all masalas and curries always start off with onion and tomato. So we're going to start with our onions. In a large saucepan, I'm just going to add 1/4 cup of oil on medium-high heat. To that, I'm going to add roughly 2 cups of sliced onions, and we're going to cook this down and caramelize it on medium-high heat. So after 10 minutes, this is how your onions should be looking like. I'm going to add 1 cup of pureed tomatoes. I like to puree them in batches and keep them in these little Ziploc baggies, and it's just easier than having to blend it fresh. So I'm just going to mix this in and cook it for about 5 minutes. Now I just put the tomato onion mixture into a food processor and I'm going to blend it. I have roughly 1 pound, I think it's like 1 pound 3 ounces of beef with bones. Roughly you just want 1 pound of meat, and then our tomato onion mixture that we blended. If you can tell, it's like a little bit more, it's like an overflowing cup. 1 cup of tomato onion mixture. So you're just going to add all of that in there. And to this, we're going to add 1/4 cup of oil and our spice blend, and then cook it on medium heat for about 10 minutes. This is after 5 minutes, and if you see that it's kind of sticking to the bottom, you can always lower the heat to medium-low and add like a splash of water. Just like a really splash, just so it doesn't burn on the bottom. So you want to cook this for 10 minutes. So this is how it looks after 10 minutes. You can see how the oil has separated from the masala salad mixture. So we're going to turn off the heat and set it to the side. So in our pressure cooker, we have our beet mixture. We're going to add 1 tablespoon of pureed garlic, and then 1 tablespoon of pureed ginger. You can use minced garlic, freshly grated ginger, and then to this we're also going to add our entire beef salad mixture. Just like that, beautiful. And then to this we're going to add another cup of the tomato puree. We'll just add it in there frozen, it's fine. There we go. And we're going to add 3 cups of water. Now the water that I use is like, the measurements, I always measure liquid in these dry measuring cups. I know you're not supposed to, but for all my recipes, if you have anything measuring liquids, it's always in a dry measuring cup. Now I turned it on high heat, and I'm gonna cook it basically until it comes to a boil and this kind of melts. If you don't have a pressure cooker, you can totally use an Instapot, same thing. And if you don't have an Instapot or a pressure cooker, you can just do this stovetop, but you just have to cook it a lot longer until the meat is really tender. If you do use the stovetop method, you'll also use less water. Maybe like start off with 1 or 2 cups and then go from there. Now once it comes to a boil, we just covered it, added the little topper, and you can see how the pin has lifted. So once this little guy starts dancing, we're going to lower the medium from high to medium. So this is what I mean when I say the top starts dancing. We're going to lower the heat to medium and cook for 20 minutes. Okay, so I opened the pressure cooker and I'm just cooking it a little bit down to remove some of the excess water. So I have it on high heat and we're going to cook it down. So this is the consistency you want it at, where a lot of the water has evaporated, but it's still kind of like a saucy consistency, and it'll thicken up once it's off the heat. I also removed the meat before cooking it down because I don't want to kind of like shred apart the beef. So we're gonna plate it up now.